So we're back with our video sit-downs, and we're back to the County Commission District 3 race, and Kevin Schmelzlen,
Yes.
get that right? He's the guy across the table. He's running for the District 3 seat. Kevin, first let's tell everybody about you and why you decided to run.
All right, well, I'm running because I care about this community. I'm not originally from Mason County, but as long as I've lived here, I've been part of the community. I've made efforts to bring our community forward and make sure that we have a brighter future here in Mason County. From my first day that I lived in Mason County, I came originally from San Diego, California, and on my first day here in Shelton, in Mason County, had somebody say to me, "Why the heck would you move from San Diego to Shelton?" And you know what? I've been hearing that ever since, usually from people my age or younger, but really from all sorts of people. And I've told this story many times about hearing this, and nobody has ever said, "No, you didn't hear that," because people know we have a poor reputation in the region. There's unfortunately low self-esteem here. There's so many great things about Mason County, but there's also these negatives that we need to work on. And my candidacy is about emphasizing the things that make Mason County unique and attractive and special and great. And we also need to take a serious look at and focus on taking care of those problems which are holding us back from having a greater future here.
So let's get into some of the issues. Topping the list is always the budget. Well, not topping one of the lists, the budget and
Right.
potential shortfall. What do you know about the budget, and what can you tell us? How would you try to fix this?
I've been hearing a lot about this budget lately. Mason County has a budget issue, the city of Shelton has a budget issue, federal government, state government has a budget issue. Anytime you're dealing with government, unfortunately, there's going to be a limit to how much you can spend, and because of how much is being brought in. And here in Mason County, I don't see it so much as us having a spending problem as us having an income problem. And as long as we have this system where 65% of Mason County workers, which are Mason County residents who work, 65% of those people currently have to go outside of our county in order for work, oftentimes for wages, which don't necessarily pay the bills and allow them to move ahead. But when 65% of Mason County workers are going outside the county, they're oftentimes spending their money outside the county, after work, going grocery shopping, dining, entertainment. So we're losing a lot of dollars that way. And then also as I mentioned, we have a less than stellar reputation around the region, and we haven't been attracting and bringing in these outside investment dollars, whether those are people just looking to have a fun weekend, in the summertime, they'll drive up the 101. We don't even have signs really off the 101 letting people know all the great things that we have going on just east of there in Shelton and the rest of Mason County. Even Hoodsport does a decent job capturing those dollars, but we need to do a lot more in terms of capturing the dollars and really letting the world know that Mason County is a great place, a unique place, an attractive place, and bringing those dollars from outside Mason County into Mason County. We need to focus on making Mason County more attractive and emphasizing and protecting the things that make us unique.
So you're talking about tourism is basically your...
Tourism's a big part of it, but really, even across government, we need to be looking at what outside dollars can we bring in here, because some people will say, well, just tax this group or tax that group, but in Mason County, we cannot tax our way to success. I think the overwhelming majority of Mason County residents agree with that. We can't tax our way to a richer, more successful future here in Mason County. We need to bring outside dollars, whether that's tourism dollars, whether that's outside grants, and we do that in large part, again, by emphasizing and protecting what makes us unique, also by showing the world and outside employers and anyone else, that we are a community who cares, that we're a community that invests in itself, that's investing in our future, investing in our youth to make sure that when they reach 18, 19, 20 years old, a working age, that they have the skills, they have experience, they've had mentorship, internship opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities, they have a personal and professional network, and these are things that a county commissioner can do. we can use the power of the government to connect these various resources that we have to make sure that our citizens and especially our youth are being set up for success. And the rest of the world will see that, especially when we advertise that. They see us making things happen here in Mason County to make it even more beautiful, more unique, more attractive, get more things going on. I love Forest Festival, Oyster Fest, music in the park every Thursday night, the Blues and Brews that we had last week, all these things that bring people from outside of Mason County into Mason County, and also these things that even if people aren't coming in physically, they're hearing about these things happening in Mason County, and it just makes us seem a little more attractive, a little more of a place where people actually want to go to. We need to make Mason County a place where people are proud and excited to live, visit, work, and raise a family. That's really, as I see it, the only way for a great, successful future here in Mason County.
When you get into your list of priorities and what have you, but public safety is always at the top of everybody's list, but it's not the only department in the county. So how do you balance all that and still preserve the level of service, or how would you balance treat every department equally, but yet continue to make the level of service at its top as possible, How would you plan to do that?
Well, I think one thing that's made me a unique and attractive candidate for Mason County Commissioner is the fact that I've been involved in so many different facets of our community. I've been involved with United Way of Mason County as a board member. I led Schmelzlen to the Top, worked with all sorts of community groups there, worked with the Sheriff's Office, worked with the commissioners, worked with the City of Schmelzlen. I worked for Mason Conservation District, and I've learned about all these resources that we have out there, I've met with various county department leaders, the agency heads, and if you don't get out there and speak to people and work with people and listen to people and actually find out what's going on, how are you ever going to create an equitable system or a better future? So yes, the safety and security for Mason County residents is huge, but I think it really starts off with the Mason County commissioners, all three of us, need to go out there and actually speak with not just the county department heads, but the people that work there and find out, do you like your job? Do you like what you're doing? What avenues do you see for opportunities for having a more effective, more efficient system in place? When I worked with Schmelzlen to the Top, we worked with various different county departments. And I was invited to a county meeting. It was kind of a cross-department meeting dealing with trash issues. And the Sheriff's Office was there, Public Health, Community Development, and various other community departments. And I'm glad they had that meeting, but that meeting should have happened years ahead of there. What I was hearing at that meeting was there was a lot of inefficiency, a lot of overlap that was really redundancy. And so we need to actually get out there, speak with the people doing their jobs. We need to empower people to do their jobs. I worked, as I mentioned, at Mason Conservation District, and when I was there, I was not impressed with how it was run, quite frankly. I felt like the staff, who are fantastic people, I love conservation districts. They do great things for landowners across the county. We have conservation districts in pretty much every county in the United States. They do great things. We have great staff here at Mason Conservation District, but they were not empowered to do their job. They were not empowered to strive for bigger, greater things, and there was inefficiency. I saw tens of thousands of dollars wasted. And when you are in government, especially when you're a government leader and you're an employer of sorts, you need to make sure that your departments and the people working under you are happy, that they feel empowered, that they're able to move things forward, that they feel comfortable speaking with other people, and they have avenues to express their opinions. If you don't have that, how are you ever going to find out when things are going wrong? And you know what? Those inefficiencies, that's all taxpayer dollars. So those are taxpayer dollars being wasted. When we're talking about the budget and not having enough money to pay for certain things, we need to first make sure that we have efficient, effective government, especially if we're ever going to tell the taxpayers, we need to raise your taxes. I think that should be the last thing we do. We need to first look at inefficiency, make sure that we have more dollars coming in, less dollars, less Mason County dollars going out, and and then we'll have plenty of money, I think, for the sheriff's office and all the other departments.
So you mentioned efficiencies.
Right.
How would you find those efficiencies?
You need to speak with the people. Okay. You need to speak with the staff working for you, with the department heads. We need to have these different departments come together and actually have these conversations. A lot of times it's about those initial hours, oftentimes, just making sure that people are on the same page. And then in addition to our government, we have all sorts of great resources in Mason County, nonprofits, businesses, an EDC, Chamber of Commerce, 2 chambers of commerce. We have all these great resources that we can rely upon and draw upon so that government we're not having to use taxpayer dollars to do every single thing. If we have community groups, community individuals, or these existing resources that want to make things happen, how can we help you make things happen? How can we help you be more efficient? Is it just a matter of blasting out a little bit of advertisement about this event, which is going to bring people into Mason County so that people will spend their dollars? Is it a matter of you're doing this thing, but we know that there's this other resource in the community that would be a great partner there. But if you're not speaking with the people, if you're not electing leaders who are part of the community, how are you ever going to know about these resources? How are you ever going to connect these resources?
Getting back to top priorities.
Okay.
I mean, we talked about public safety. What else is on your list of one of those top priorities?
Really, we need to make sure that the community here is set up for success. And we need to focus on the future. We need to make sure that our citizens have the skills, have the experience, have the personal and professional network to move themselves forward. I think that's one of the biggest things that you can do. Different governments, different locales do all sorts of things differently. Sometimes it work, 2 different governments can do the same thing. It may work out for one, it may not work out for the other. What I want to do is that regardless of the outcome, which I think will be positive for Mason County, we can make sure that in our efforts to make Mason County's future greater, that we're setting our citizens up for success. The more skills, the more experience, the greater of a network we have within our community here, the stronger we're going to be, regardless of exactly what those people are going to do. Regardless of what they choose to do. So I think we really need to make sure that we're working with our existing community resources, connecting these resources with each other, helping them be more effective and more efficient, and then connecting the people with those resources. And part of this, you create action, you create momentum, you create excitement, and then the rest of the world, especially around the South Sound region, hears about Mason County taking action. I led Shelton to the top. We worked with over 300 community members. Half of those were under the age of 25 to remove over 250,000 pounds of trash from the greater Shelton area. Dangerous derelict properties, usually condemned homes, abandoned homeless camps in the woods, or usually pretty close to neighborhoods, illegal dump sites. It wasn't just about picking up the trash. People were excited about the trash being picked up. I think that's part of the reason why it was so successful. But people were also excited about having a path for themselves to make their future better, to make the future of their community better. I was so excited to see, before and after, not just the actual before and after picture of the mess, but to speak with the people who helped us clean up those messes. Before that and after that, they were almost always excited after that cleanup, and that was a lot of hard work. But you get people excited about what they're doing, you get them excited about your community, you're gonna have a greater future here.
So Kevin, covered everything that was on my list. What I like to do to end these things is give you the opportunity to briefly tell everybody why you are the best candidate for the next Mason County Commissioner. That's a tough one.
Yes. I think the thing that sets me apart from the other candidates for Mason County Commissioner in District 3 is how involved I've been in this community, the fact that I've not just talked the talk, because that's something you hear from all politicians, right? We should do this, we should do that. I've walked the walk. I've stepped up for our community for the last several years. I have been in our community. I've been networking. I tell people I'm an introvert by nature, but I have a message to share, I have a vision to share, and when I go around and I speak with people, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, conservative, liberal, or anything else in between or even further away, they said, I asked them, what do you think, what makes you proud to be from Mason County? What do you like about Mason County? And they say, I love the fact that it's a rural place with these rural lifestyle opportunities. And I don't like, the crime, the homelessness, the drug abuse, and these other things that I've mentioned. I believe that I have been the only candidate in this race who's actually taken real efforts and really moved us forward, protected our opportunities, cleaned up our forests so that when kids want to go on a walk through the woods, they don't have to worry about stepping on heroin needles or broken glass. I've made it so that when people drive down East Street to go visit their friend or their family member in Shelton for the first time, or to go check out a house that they saw on the internet, they're not driving by this property that makes the entire neighborhood look bad. I've taken real actions for our community. I've been part of our community. I understand the resources that we have here, and I understand the people, and I'm in tune with the people and what we want for the future of Mason County, and that's what makes me unique, and I think that will make me, is why people will vote for me for the next Mason County Commissioner.
Thank you, Kevin, for taking some time. Busy weekend for you, but thanks for stepping aside.
Thank you, Dedrick.